I just need to show now. My screen. Hey, so normally we should be online. I mean, everybody should be able to listen to us. The only question is now, what is the screen? Everybody should be able to see us. No, it doesn't want to. That's always the very nice thing with this little screen. So that's not the one you want to see either. Now the computer has decided not to be nice with me. Why is the web? There we go. For real, you don't want to show me the. Okay. Well, Amanda, you should be able to talk now.
All right, can everybody hear me okay? Let's see, do we have, Sebastien, can you see the ability for everybody to type in their chat and say hello? Yeah, or absolutely. If we have our clients, our explorers online?
We have 32 explorers so far.
Hi, everybody. Yay. So I'm Amanda Ballone from Roseboro Travel, and this is Tiffany Clay. You can see she's on the phone right now because we are busy getting all of our lovely explorers like yourself back to traveling as soon as it's safe and ready to happen again. And so please excuse her. She was ready for this, but has been on the Zoom call for 4 hours today. So today we have an incredible presentation for you from AmaWaterways. Our very own rep, Sebastien Leroy, is here to talk to you all about the amazing experiences you can have with AmaWaterways. I can tell you personally, I've traveled with them several times and absolutely love the experiences that we have when we're traveling with them. So I'm excited about this presentation and what you'll have the opportunity to learn today. Sebastien, take it away.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your presence this afternoon with AmaWaterways. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about river cruising this afternoon. And well, river cruising, that's something that we all love, and we also love to travel with Roseboro Travel. As Amanda just told you, they've been actually cruising with us quite a few times. We will talk this afternoon about a few itineraries that have been selected for the future. So these will be a few examples. And before talking about these itineraries, for those of you who are not necessarily very familiar with us, I would like to talk about who we are, why you may not have heard of us before, where we come from, and where we're going. So we will start with one of our ships. And here you see the beautiful Ama Christina. She's docked in a little village called Vilshofen on the Danube. Ama Christina is one of our so-called long ships. Long ships because they are 135 meters long. We have shorter ships on the French rivers, and we will see all about them this afternoon. So the company was founded in 2002 by 3 people, and fortunately, these families who founded the company are still our owners nowadays, and they still operate the entire company. We are very, very fortunate to have them. Hu China, Christine Karst, and nowadays the son of late founder Jimmy Murphy, Gary. They're our owners. We have currently 25 cruise ships in our fleet, 18 operating in Europe. 2 additional ones will come in Europe very quickly, and we're just doing the test phases for these. We have another new one that is coming for Egypt. I had the pleasure to see the first renderings a few weeks ago, and I hope, Amanda, that we will be able to talk about Egypt in another webinar, during another webinar. And after that, we have ships present on the Mekong River and also on the Chobe River in Africa. So quite a large fleet. And as I mentioned at the beginning, you may not have heard of us before. I mean, if you have and if you love it, that's beautiful. For those of you who may not have heard of us before, let me explain a little bit why. It is simply because we do not advertise like other friendly competitors would do. We work with travel advisors, with travel partners, and actually I'm always very happy. I mean, I have not seen the ladies at Roseboro in person for quite a while, but I really very much look forward to visiting them again very soon. Always a nice time when I get to visit them in the land. And it's really a special relationship that we have with our travel partners. This is something that has been at the heart of the company since the very beginning. Rudy and Christine and Gary now, that's for them the very important thing, to have a great relationship with our travel partners. Now, let's talk a little bit about the ships. Our ships, the 90% of our fleet has ships that are 135 meters long, so it's about 443 feet. And this is something that you will see a lot on the European rivers, this size. This is when you cruise on a river, there is one physical constraint, is the size of the locks. You have locks that are basically staircases, and they retain water and regulate the flow of water on the rivers. And the locks have a certain length, and the maximum length of a ship, of course, here is 135 meters. The width of the ship is 38 feet, yes, 11 meters and 40. And some ships are wider than that, but they will not be able to cross Europe entirely. A ship that is 38 feet wide will literally be able to link the North Sea to the Black Sea, and they would have to go basically from the Rhine River, I mean the Amsterdam Canal, Rhine River, the Main River, after that the Main-Danube Canal, which is a man-made canal completed in 1992, and after that you would continue on the Danube towards the Black Sea. So our ships, as I said, have this 443 feet length. That's probably the only thing that our ships have in common with our friendly competitors. Something is very important when you design a ship is how many, and I'm sure that everybody will agree with me nowadays, is how many people we have on board the ship. And the great thing is that we've always tried to have a lower capacity in terms of passengers, in order for everyone to be comfortable, and in order for us to also be able to offer amenities on board our ships that others would not be able to offer. Like we have, for example, 2 dining rooms at least on board our restaurants. We have a spa, we have a fitness center, we have a swimming pool, and so many of these amenities that some will have them, some of them, but not all of them at the same time. And of course, we all know that rivers are reopening slowly, or even if you don't know it yet, let me tell you that they are reopening slowly in Europe. We are seeing signs basically every week, encouraging signs that the activity is starting again. Our crew is ready. I was just actually talking to Amanda and Tiffany a few minutes before you joined us, and I was mentioning to them that some of our ships are already ready to go. So we will have now to wait for the European authorities and for our airlines to bring us there. But we are very optimistic. Actually, the activity is restarting at a way faster pace than everybody had expected, even a few weeks ago. So important on board our ships is the comfort. So you see that our ships offer very spacious staterooms. So when you see, they range from 160 square feet to 710. So 710 square feet, yeah, that's quite a large stateroom. This is on board our AmaMagna. The AmaMagna is a ship that is actually double the width of what I've mentioned to you so far, which also means that she cannot cross entirely Europe. She's only present on the Danube. But what you see right here, 230 square feet stateroom, that's really the average size. 210 and 230 square feet staterooms, that's the average size that you will find on our ships. 160 square feet, these are staterooms that are designed specifically for our solo travelers on our ships operating in France. Now, of course, the comfort in the stateroom, and you see that there is a Macintosh there, so 27-inch Mac, that's what we offer in all our staterooms. Now, of course, Wi-Fi is complimentary, and you can even connect, you can use this computer as your personal computer during your cruise, but you can connect also 3 devices per stateroom on Wi-Fi. You also see that we have what we call twin balconies. So that's not all the staterooms, but that's 80% of them feature this very signature, actually, twin balconies that we have. Part is the French balcony, so basically the sliding window, and then what you see on the left is the step-out balcony. Of course, the comfort in the room is important, but the comfort on board the ship everywhere is important. The next place that I would like to take you to are our dining rooms, and you see, for us, locally sourced cuisine, this has something that has always been important. We have developed over the years a lot of great partnerships with the cities and all the farmers that we have around along the rivers, because we are not doing anything frozen. Everything is prepared on the ship. And we really enjoy and we really like our guests to have a great dining experience. And this brings me to the dining venues. I mentioned to you that our ships have at least 2 dining venues, and look at this one. This, the Chef's Table restaurant, this picture actually I think is very interesting because it was taken a few years ago, but you already see there might be a little, there will be a few adjustments when we come back on our ships. But you see here that there is already ample space. And this restaurant here accommodates so far 36 guests. And we will probably reduce that. And there will be some additional information coming during the next weeks. But the idea is that you have an intimate but also relaxed experience. So that's why we have a lot of space between the tables. It is a fine dining experience in that sense that it is live cooking. All our dining experiences are fine dining, but this one, live cooking, wine paired dinners, and this is what defines our Chef's Table restaurant. And of course, you see this. This is not the main dining room, but everybody can go to this restaurant. Everybody can enjoy this very evening, and there is no extra charge of that for that, of course. Now, health is something very important on every aspect. And now that we've been talking about the staterooms, that we've been talking about first a little bit the dining experience, I think this this slide is important. I wanted to mention it at the beginning of the presentation because we all know that there will be changes, that there are changes. So what you see now is that's not set in stone. I mean, we are working constantly. I told you a few minutes ago that we were looking at the signs every week, but we're in constant contact with our partners in Europe, on the ground, on the ships, with local authorities. And so far, this is what we have put together when it comes to the boarding requirements, when it comes to the crew boarding requirements. And there will be online health screening questionnaires that will be basically at time pretty much of booking or at time of check-in, which is usually about 60 days from 60 days prior. And the second, what we call the second validation questionnaire, this one will be really just before arriving, before boarding the ship. And we all know, and this will be for the safety of everyone, guests and crew, of course, that everybody will have to comply with these questionnaires. This is something that is decided. We're working together with many river cruise lines because there have to be some protocols that are valid for everyone, which is also why these measures are put in place. Same thing for the crew boarding requirements. The crew already had a medical clearance. This is not something new, but we will have to look at what the high-risk areas. I mean, high-risk areas might be something that sounds a little odd now, because basically every area has been a high-risk one, or is currently a high-risk one. But we're talking more about hotspots here. But the great thing is that we've been in contact with our crew all the time. I mean, I was even in contact about an hour ago with 7 of our cruise managers, and we all know that everybody has been really respecting the rules, staying at home when it was required, and are now also respecting the social distancing measures. The training on board the ship has changed. There will be quite a few adjustments that will be made on board the ships. I mean, the use probably of plexiglass at our reception desk. I mean, we are constantly working on it, but at least I wanted you to see that we have already points that are in place. For those of you who've been cruising with us, and when you look at food safety, for example, if you've been cruising with us, you probably remember these large and beautiful morning breakfast buffets. The breakfast buffets will still be there, but as you can read, it will be handled exclusively by the waiter. So you will still have this vast choice, and we will still, of course, accommodate, like we've always done, the different dietary requests you may have, but now everything will be served by our crew. We're also working on what will be the new capacity of our ship. So many things that are in the works, and we have, I would say, we are looking at 95% readiness for guests to come back in. So what we will do, we will certainly have some phased return to voyage, and now we will, I think, jump into these different voyages because safety is important. But let's say that you're on board, you have passed these medical tests, you're here with the crew, and we are going to start cruising together. So of course we will have our little daily sip and sail. So sip and sail, it's called here a cocktail hour. I like to call it the social hour. That's something that we have every day, 1 hour before dinner, when everybody comes back from excursions. And this is a happy hour. I could call it open bar. Open bar doesn't sound that active to me, so that's why we like this sip and sail. It also works when we are not sailing, so we will sip every day when we're on board the ship, that's for sure. We have, of course, a wellness program, because going on vacation doesn't mean that you would stop exercising if you love it. So we have our wellness hosts on board. This program runs parallel to our excursion program. People like Victor, who you see here on the picture, are absolutely dedicated to your wellness. Different types of programs, different level of exercises as well. It starts in the morning. You could start with a stretching class in the lounge, or maybe even a yoga class on the sun deck. Continue with an active walk during the day, and then stretching at the end of a day where you will have had a lot of excursions. When the ship is cruising, you see there can be some therapy sessions, so really a vast program. And your wellness host can also be your one-on-one fitness trainer if you wish so. Now, excursions, very important part of the river cruise experience. And that's, you see, when you looked, if you remember the picture that you saw from our ship at the beginning, there is nothing to compare with an ocean liner. The most of the experience when you're on a river cruise will be done in all these places that you visit. And I love this picture that I've chosen here. That's in Bordeaux. Actually very close to the ship. It's about 15 minutes walk from the ship, but I think it sums up very well what European streets can be, and especially in my country. I mean, France is where I come from, and when you see these old cobblestones, nothing very even, that's typically what you would find in France and also in major parts of Europe. So the great thing with that is you will be able to walk at different paces. You will, depending on who you want to go with, because we have active walking tours, we have regular walking tours, we have gentle walking tours. Another change that we might see in the near future, actually that we will see, is the size of the groups. AmaWaterways, and I'm sure Amanda and Tiffany and Debbie and all the team could testify on that. We've always had very small groups. Until last year, or until this year, I would say, we had a maximum of 20 guests per guide on a walking tour like this. And I say maximum. This will reduce. We have to see how it will be done, because this is not something that we decide. This is something that is decided by the local authorities. We know that in Germany, where on the Main River, where it's currently reopening, the cities have allowed groups of 12, and they have some specific regulations when it comes to the distancing when you're walking. But it's I mean, the Germans have done a great job, I must say, with these regulations, and we really see a great improvement again for our guests, because we will probably have 10, 12 people per group. Why do I call this an improvement? Because you will really have an intimate experience with guides. You will really get to know these local guides and really be able to converse with them when they describe their area, where they live, what their culture has. Having a small group will help you, will give you the opportunity to really converse with them, which is something that has always been an issue when you do guided tours, because when you have a 1.5 hour walk, if you have a few questions, well, these questions were either unanswered, or you simply did not get then the entire information the guide wanted to give to you. Now we will have this, so that's, I think, a great thing. We offer the bike tours, we offer the hike, so really a lot of possibilities when it comes to excursion. Now, I would like to talk a little bit about some itineraries, and why have I chosen these ones today? Well, we've been working together with Amanda and the team because they choose these itineraries very carefully. When you know that when they go with you, or even when they don't go with you, they're always here for you. That's, I think, the beauty of having a travel agent, a travel partner who is there before the cruise, during, if it is necessary, and after the cruise. And we have a few itineraries for you that are absolutely amazing. You will see I've really tried to limit the number of pictures of the sites that you will see, and it was really hard for me to make a choice, simply because you have so many wonderful things to see in an 8-day cruise. Like the Tulip Time one, it's limited in the season, and that's really March, April, so beginning of the season, and you usually start in Amsterdam. So when you start in Amsterdam, there is the possibility with AmaWaterways to have a pre-cruise extension. So you stay at the Sofitel Legend in Amsterdam, which is a beautiful hotel, or at the Krasnapolski. This is one of the views that you would have in this city. Very, very well known, and so most of the houses are well known for being from the 17th century, so more than 300 years. They don't even look like it, but what gives it away is really, if you look, for example, at the red house on the left of the screen, you see that it's not straight, and it's not because the picture is wrong, it's because the house is not straight. They've been here for such a long time that they are the soil, the ground on which Amsterdam is built is a I would not say that it's marsh, but it's a very unstable soil, and that's why the houses have been moving over time. But of course, I will show you a few pictures of what you will see. So Hoorn, so that's an area where you will start seeing, of course, these windmills for which the Netherlands are so famous, but also the tulips, the bulbs, because everybody talks about tulip time, but it's really bulb time there. And you will be able to visit, of course, a farm, but also see these fields, the fields of tulips that you have everywhere. A cruise, a river cruise, will give you a lot of different aspects, a lot of different views on the culture, on the country itself. And the Dutch, of course, are very famous for their delta works, for the so-called dikes. And here is one of them, and you have the possibility to go and visit one of these dikes. How does everything work? How have the Dutch been working on gaining land on the sea for more than 4 centuries? And that's really absolutely amazing. And of course, then you have all these places like Middelburg, or after that in Belgium, Ghent, and you have all these very typical architectures that you would find. When you go to Ghent, Ghent is a beautiful place, as you can see. The ship is docked in Ghent. You have approximately 10 minutes bus ride to get to the city center, and you have a wonderful walk. But you can choose between staying the entire day in Ghent, or you can go and visit. You can have a visit of a chocolate workshop. You can also go and visit Bruges, which is absolutely superb as well. You can do a combination of both, and then you continue your way to Antwerp. So that's where you have, that's a picture of the Floralia show, which I think is absolutely amazing, because everybody knows the Netherlands for the flowers, but trust me, the Belgians are also very, very well into flowers and horticultural exhibitions and shows. 2022, we will have the Floriade. The Floriade will be something unique once again. That's something that the Dutch have every 10 years. And again, it's not a flower show only, it's a horticultural show. So it's really about the technologies that the Dutch are using, how to preserve nature at its best. And it can be also technique in building houses. It's a very, very, very unique event that will be in 2022. But you have really tons of places and tons of different interests, so tons of different topics that can be brought to you during this cruise. You would visit the Steen Castle, which you see here, which is in the center of the city, approximately 15 minutes walk from the ship. And then after that, you would continue your way to Rotterdam. And Rotterdam is absolutely beautiful. Everybody talks, and of course, Amsterdam is the most famous city, but Rotterdam is very different in that sense that it marries old architecture, which you can see here, and the ultra-modern architecture, which you can see here. And that's, the ship is docked approximately 10 minutes away from this Erasmus Bridge. And this is really the modern part of Amsterdam. And you have a bike tour that shows you the combination of both. You can also do it by walk, but Rotterdam is a place that you absolutely want to visit as well. And the beauty of it, you're always docked, except for Ghent, where you really have, as I said, a 10-minute bus ride. But for the others, you can always walk everywhere. Even when you're here, I mean, you look at the windmills of Kinderdijk, and so 27 windmills, a real functioning polder, all of them from the 1700s, all inhabited and all still operating. Even there, you can walk there because the Rhine River is just a few minutes walk away from this beautiful polder. After that, you come back to Keukenhof. Keukenhof, a must-see. When you're going to a Tulip Time cruise, a must-see, because you have 7 million bulbs that are planted. And these 7 million bulbs, they're taken care of by 40 gardeners, and you walk literally, it's like walking in a fairy tale area. I mean, you have different shapes, colors, and types of flowers everywhere. Absolutely superb. And when you continue, when you're in Belgium, but when you're in Belgium, you're very close to France, you're very close to Germany, you're very close to Switzerland, and that's what leads me to our next itinerary. This one, is a new itinerary in that sense that we're extending a little bit the Rhone experience. And the Rhone is a beautiful river. And you see, and the Rhone and the Saône rivers actually prolong each other. We will be going one way or the other from next year, and you have pre and post extensions on all tours with AmaWaterways. You hopefully know that. And we would start in Geneva. So Geneva, very beautiful Swiss city. On Lake Geneva, very close to another great town, which is called Annecy. And these are the two cities that you would visit when you start on this itinerary. So Annecy is actually known as the Venice of the Alps because of all these canals that you have there. It doesn't look at all like a French town that you would know. It's something completely different. You have the visit of the Château de Chillon. And the Château de Chillon, I mean, you might never have heard of it, but if you have kids or maybe even grandkids, you might have heard of a movie by Disney called Tangled. And actually, this is this castle that inspired the teams for Disney's Tangled. You have, after that, you arrive on the ship and you start in Chalon-sur-Saône, and there you have this experience on the Saône River, which is very, very different than the Rhone. And the Saône is known as a very quiet river, little villages, beautiful places. You are at the heart of Burgundy, and so basically you're at the heart of the food area of France. Many people think about Paris, but and here are a few pictures so that you can see what you would enjoy during this time. Many people think of Paris as being something really special for food, but this is really the area that I'm showing to you now that is the heart of food for French people, and the food culture is really there. This building that you see there, absolutely amazing, is called Les Hospices de Beaune. So it's a 15th century hospital. It's called actually l'Hôtel Dieu. L'Hôtel Dieu. So hotel, don't need to translate that because hotel, that's the same in every language. Dieu means God. And actually, when it was built, this hospice, and you must try to go back a little bit in time, and this hospice was built by a gentleman who was extremely rich in the 15th century. His name was Nicolas Roman. And people at the time, when they were powerful, they were still scared, and that they would not meet God when they would die. So they did everything. They would spend tons of money in these Hôtel Dieu, the last hotel that people would see before seeing God. So it was the ancestor of the hospital. And this one is 600 plus years old, and it's still, I mean, it's not functioning as a hospital, but it is intact completely. Absolutely superb place that you would be able to see. You would see Tournu, for example, a little village on the river, and you see this church. I mean, I hope you've seen that. I have not talked about churches too much so far. This church is absolutely amazing. If you look at the top of it, you see that it's a Romanesque church. So how do we recognize that? Because of the rounded, in this case, not windows at the very top, the three ones. They are actually where you have the bells. And that's an late Romanesque church, sorry, because you see the combination already in a part that has been rebuilt later. You see this Gothic arch. Usually Romanesque churches are very austere, very dark. And this one, you see, there's almost no windows, but you have a ton of light in there. So really, we try to show you places that nobody else would show you. And this church, what you see here, is 900 years old. But of course, all these areas, I mean, that's the views and the drives that you have. If you do a drive in the countryside or a bike tour on the countryside, this is what you would see. And then when you go to Bourg-en-Bresse, visit of a monastery as well, visit of the area of the Beaujolais, so very famous for the Gamay. So actually, technically, Beaujolais is in Burgundy, but never, please keep that in mind when you will go there, never tell a winemaker in the Beaujolais that he's part of Burgundy, and never tell a person in Burgundy that he's part of the Beaujolais, because they literally hate each other. They're very proud of what they have. So the region is the same, but wine areas are totally different. Then you arrive in beautiful Lyon, and we continue our way south. And so Lyon, really the food capital of France, and you see how wonderful. So 500,000 inhabitants in the heart of the city, 1.4 million when you count the suburban area of Lyon. So second largest town in France, always battling with Marseille. And you continue towards the south. And so you would visit Vienne, you would visit Avignon, which you see here. So Avignon, very famous for its Pope's Palace that you can see here, and Le Pont d'Avignon. So very, I'm not going to sing you the song now. I'm not going to do that. But this is the very Pont d'Avignon here, the Pont Saint-Bénézé, and these are and your ship is docked really 3 minutes walk from this bridge. And you see different areas. We offer you different possibilities of bike tours, guided bike rides, of course, going to Tarascon. So also very beautiful place built around the castle from the 12th century, Château du Roi René. And then you continue going back in time. You arrive in Arles. And actually, if you look at the top of the picture, on the river, on the right bank, you see where the cruise ships are. So you really see that you are docked in the city. And you see here the Roman amphitheater in Arles. So this one is 2,600 years old. And you have actually, and you see even the theater on the left. So you see the big amphitheater on the right, and then on the left, the little amphitheater. You have the Roman bath. So really a very, very old city, Arles, and in beautiful condition, absolutely beautiful condition. And when we talk about gems and beautiful cities, there is another one that we want to show you now. This is also a cruise that has been selected by Amanda, and I love it. I mean, as a former cruise manager, I've had the chance to visit this area quite a few times, to take my guests there. And that's why I say that we cruise managers, but also travel advisors, travel partners, we're really blessed in our job, because basically we are taking you guys to visit beautiful places and showing you what they are. And this is a completely different view, a different approach to what Europe is. Many people know Western, Central Europe, but this part that we are approaching here, starting in Budapest, or you can start with 2 days in Vienna as a pre-extension, but you embark the ship in Budapest and then go all the way. So you go south, you go to Croatia, you continue to Serbia, you cruise between Romania and Bulgaria. And after that, after the cruise, you have 2 possibilities. Either you go on a post-extension in Transylvania, that's where you see Sinaia, Brasov, Sighisoara, or you go to Istanbul. It is a treat. It is a beautiful, I mean, and not that the others are not beautiful, but this one is different. You will see really what the Eastern European traditions are. I mean, you see this lady here, you could think, oh yeah, that's made for the picture. Absolutely not. The folks there respect the traditions way more, especially the costume traditions, way more than we would do in Western Europe. And it's a beauty for the eyes every day. The landscapes, the sights that you will see, places like Novi Sad, for example. Novi Sad, almost unknown to many of us in Northern America, but it's a city that is very well known for the Petrovaradin fortress, which has been here since the 16th century, which was here very, very important because it was a defense point against the invasion of the Ottomans. So absolutely stunning history that is there, stunning places. Look at that. This is what you have, and when you're in the Iron Gates, and what you see there, the face, and look at the size of the boat, and look at the face carved in the stone here. That's the face of King Decebal. Decebal was actually the first king of Dacia. Dacia is the former name for what approximately is Romania nowadays. And this face, you cruise there with the ship. Everybody is on the sun deck, and you see this face coming just from nowhere inside the cliffs when you're in the Iron Gates. Absolutely superb area that has been inhabited for more than 10,000 years. You will even see when you're cruising there that day, you will see the little village of Lipensky, which is carved in the cliff, that has been there for 10,000 years. That's also where you will see the largest locks in Europe. And the dam on the Iron Gate dams is 1.2 miles. So it's absolutely gigantic. And the Danube River changes completely. This is the lower Danube Gorge that we're seeing here. You see places like Veliko Tarnovo. Veliko Tarnovo, absolutely stunning place in Bulgaria. Actually, the former capital. Veliko Tarnovo in the Middle Ages was one of the capitals of Bulgaria. This huge fortress, and I can only show you a little part of it here, because the fortress is built on three different parts of them, on three different mountains actually, because the city is separated by two rivers, and the fortress goes everywhere around there. You go there in the morning, you leave the ship from Rousset, drive for about an hour, 15 minutes, you pass very close to the Valley of the Roses. The Valley of the Roses, you might never have heard of it, but if we have ladies here who like perfume, well, you're very likely to have actually had some products from the Valley of the Roses, because 70% of the roses used to make perfume in the world are from this very valley. And you go there, you visit the city, you have lunch, a traditional Bulgarian lunch. And I will tell you, these are probably the best vegetables that you will eat, that you've ever had. I mean, I love this. This was always the reason why I love to go there, is the taste of the veggies. I've never found that anywhere else again. Absolutely, absolutely amazing people too, because the places are one thing, but what do you retain? What do you keep in general when you go to places like this? These are the people, your guides, the people who are with you, your crew, the people you will meet in all these areas. They are what makes your voyage absolutely memorable. And I can assure you, if you join, and I believe, Amanda, you will tell me at the end if I'm wrong, but I think you will be leading this group. And I can tell you that you're in for an experience of a lifetime here. Look at that, Belogracic. So that's when your ship is docked in Vidin. And that's, so you have the visit of a fortress, but look at the fortress. It is built inside the cliff. They used at the time, that's from the 13th century. The walls have been built using the rock formation. Absolutely amazing place. Then you arrive in Bucharest, and many of you, or actually I hope many of you, recognize this building. Very unique building, second largest administrative building in the world after the Pentagon. That's the People's House, and this was built by Nicolae Ceausescu, and this is really a gigantic, and the People's House, I mean, actually it was his own palace, so not really for the people, more for him. Nowadays, this building is so big that a part of it is actually used as the parliament of Romania, and you get to visit that. You get to visit that in small groups. You get to visit that with a guide from the parliament. So you have your own guide taking you all around town, but you get to visit this People's House. And keep that in mind. When you will visit it, the visit lasts about an hour, 15 minutes. When you will be done visiting it, you will have seen only 2% of the surface of this building. I'm sure you will remember that on the day when you will be arriving there in Bucharest. Absolutely super place. And after that, if you decide to go to Transylvania, so you would stay in Bucharest. So this would be at the end of the cruise, beginning, depending on the direction. You would stay first in Bucharest overnight, and then you will go towards Brașov. And in Brașov, you will have the hotel, the accommodations that we choose for you are always absolutely stunning. But this one here is also a great, great one. And this castle, I've chosen this castle for a very good reason, because you will visit this castle, and it's unique. It is the original castle of Count Vlad Dracul. So Dracula, that's the place that the historic Dracula was living in. Absolutely stunning place as well. And actually, this picture is not the most dramatic, but when you arrive there, and if you have clouds, all of a sudden everything gets dark, and you really, I mean, you get the chills. I mean, all the guests I've been taking there, nobody has ever been bitten, so it's a very good thing. It's a stunning place as well. But I want to finish this little presentation with another cruise that is absolutely great, and that's why I'm always asked, well, what do you like? Which is your favorite? And really, it is impossible to answer this question, because it's not. All these cruises are different. They have a different flavor. They are at different times of the year, and they're very, very carefully chosen by your travel advisors all the time. But here, when you look at the iconic Christmas markets, I mean, of course, this is a pure joy all the time. The ship, look at that, is decorated completely differently. And this, actually is the way it should be. We love doing that. I love being a cruise manager on these cruises simply because people are in this Christmas spirit. You see, I mean, you will have Santa, of course, coming on board. We have an evening where the crew is singing, where the guests actually are singing along. I'm always very surprised when you see Santa arriving, and people are like, no, that's okay, that's funny. But then you see everyone, and I'm saying every single guest, want to have a picture with Santa, want to sit on Santa's lap. I mean, when I think about poor Santa after 130 guests, he deserves a little treat. So in general, we give him a little drink at the end. But this is really a fun place. You really see, again, the ship is decorated beautifully, and our ships are very easy to recognize when it's Christmas time because we have the best decorated ships, that's for sure. We visit beautiful places. Of course, we start with Budapest. This is a picture of St. Stephen's Cathedral, where you have one of the Christmas markets that continues also towards the main square. We visit the Christmas markets in Vienna. I mean, of course, this one here being the most famous one because it's the one at the city hall. But in Vienna, you have 7 different Christmas markets, and we have tours during the entire day to take you there, and also until the evening. We even have shuttle buses taking you there. If you don't want to go on a tour, but you just want to go on your own, the shuttle bus will bring you from the ship to the town and back. We will also let you visit, because it's not only about Christmas market, but we want you to visit beautiful and unique cellars, like the wine cellars that we have in Spitz in Austria, at the heart of the Wachau, where we would even have a very, very nice wine tasting. 16th century cellar here, and that you see. We also visit Salzburg, so you have a complete day to Salzburg. You have a lot of options. You can go to Salzburg, you can go to Český Krumlov, so a lot of possibilities to see all these different Christmas markets, medieval ones, romantic ones. Really an amazing experience. Passau, absolutely superb as well, and the city on the 3 rivers. Where you also have, and you see, if you look on the left of the picture, you have the cathedral, and where the cathedral is, that's where you have also the Christmas market. I mean, people are always very, very happy when they are there, and these are actually I mean, pictures from people who were with us. David from Australia, I mean, really great people, having fun all the time. And then we continue towards Regensburg, where you have this Christmas market is in the city center, but you have the one at the Turn and Taxis Castle, which is called the Romantic Christmas Market. You will never see a Christmas market like this one. It's really in the medieval style. So the others, I mean, you always have this little booth where everybody has the mulled wine, the smell is there, you have the raclette. But this one is different. It is like it would have been in the medieval times, and you really want to not miss these types of Christmas market as much as you would not want to miss the one in Nuremberg, which would be a very nice way to end the cruise. But the ending the cruise doesn't mean that you finish with Christmas markets, because you have the possibility to continue in Prague. And in Prague, you would be also, I mean, it's a stunning city. You have Christmas markets. I mean, you have 2 different Christmas markets, but the main one, which is at the bottom here of Our Lady After Tin, is absolutely amazing. And we have really a lot of dates that are available. I mean, of course, we have a group going with Roseboro Travel, but if you think, if for some reason this date would not work, look at that. You have a lot of times. You have a lot of, and really, Vienna opens November 15th. And this is based on the 2019 schedule, but the 2020 is the dates are the same. So Budapest always opens very early. So even if you decided to go a little early because you have a time constraint, you will have always plenty of time to enjoy these Christmas markets. Voila, that's pretty much it for me in terms of presenting. So maybe Amanda, you might want to say a few words if you want to talk again.
Yes, of course. So Tiffany and I have been sitting here kind of whispering, so excited about everything that you were sharing with our lovely explorers. And from the perspective of the Gems of the Danube cruise, the Gems of Southeast Europe, I will be bringing that group this year at the end of October. And Debbie will be hosting the trip that is going for Tulip Time. And from everybody who just went on our Christmas markets tour this past year, it's actually a whole new group it's the same group of people wanted to do a whole nother group going back to the Christmas markets because we had such an incredible time. I don't know if you'll be able to see this with the picture, but that's me with Santa Claus. So I don't know if you all could see it. If not, we'll be sure to send it out in the email. But Alma does an excellent job, not only bringing you to the Christmas markets, bringing you on the tours, but even their shop on board the ship is stocked with incredibly beautiful figurines and handcrafts that are picked up from Christmas markets around that ship is going on. So every one of those itineraries was amazing. Any one would be the perfect one for you to go on, but we certainly would love to help you plan the perfect trip for you on board an Ama River Cruise.
So I think I see two hands raised. One is Jennifer Hill. So what I will do, I will try to unmute you. Should be working now. Jennifer, can you hear us? Or can you talk?
Oh, sorry. No, I actually did not have a question. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I saw your hand raised. Okay, that's...
I have my daughter in here with her cat, so.
Maybe the cat had a question.
Can you bring me on board?
But I see another hand raised with a question. So I'm going to the question space.
Maybe you could share past passenger discounts or promotions too with us.
Yes, absolutely. So the promotions when it comes to promotions, we have them on our cruise spotlight. So I will be, Amanda, you probably have it. It was supposed to end on April 30th, but with this pandemic that has been happening, we have prolonged the offers until June 30th. So I will send it again to you so that you really can see where you have savings, because there are really a lot of possibilities, especially when it comes to Christmas markets, or actually really all itineraries where we have what we call the triple savings. So triple savings can lead up to $2,000 discount per stateroom. It comes along with a complimentary cabin upgrade, and it also comes along with $100 onboard credit. And actually, what we would do, if any of you who is on this call with us today would like to join on any of these tours, and you would take a decision, you would make a decision to make a deposit within 2 weeks from now, I would also include the gratuities. So of course you would need to mention that to Debbie or to Amanda or to any of the team members that you usually work with, and then they would say that to me, and this would be an additional savings. So the cruise gratuities, so for the crew managers, would be included as well.
That's excellent value.
Yeah.
Of course, we want to make sure that everybody has a great time. And there are always, I always encourage people, our guests, to really stay in touch with the travel advisors, with their travel advisors, because they're also the ones who receive information. I mean, not only from me, but also from our headquarters. And when there are questions, they can really answer your questions very rapidly. And they know, and I'm sure they all know here, that if there is a question that cannot be answered at that moment, they just need to grab the phone and give me a call, and then I'll be always happy to answer this question.
Wonderful. Did we have other questions?
I'm looking, but no, actually, I just saw one hand raised, but it was Kathleen at the beginning saying, yes, we can hear you. And actually, I saw, is the webinar still on? Is after 2, yes, Trish. Trish, were you here?
Well, you'll be sending us a copy of it. We'll be happy to email it out to everybody so that you can either share it with friends or rewatch it. And then when you're ready and have decided which cruise it is that you want to start with, just call our office at Roseboro Travel. We're happy to get you booked, and with those great values, the added benefit of the prepaid gratuities that Sebastien offered, as well as any other perks and promotions that are available to you.
2 weeks
Exactly.
from it would be
2 weeks from today. So let's, 27. So let's, so let's say that until June 10th. Is that okay?
Great. Excellent.
Great.
Well, if there's no other questions, thank you all so much for joining us today on this webinar. I hope that it was easy for you to get on, beneficial for you to learn from. And Sebastien, thank you so much for hosting it. You are an incredible speaker and talking about the itineraries that you love. So we appreciate that. And from our whole team at Roseboro Travel, we appreciate you all and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all, ladies. I hope to see you soon. And we look forward to welcoming everybody on board our ships.
Perfect.
Thank you. Lovely presentation.
Thank
So-
you. Stay happy and healthy. Bye.
Bye.